Hey you guys, welcome back to Michael Clarida Arts. Today we're going to do something that I think you guys will probably enjoy. We're going to do a review of a product and then we're going to use the product and draw something. I know that I've been doing a lot of reviews and not a whole heck of a lot of drawings, so that's something that I'm going to rectify. You can see that I'm kind of in the dark, right? I don't have my usual studio lighting because there is huge lightning storms happening right now. So if you hear something in the distance, that's what that is. So as noted by the thumbnail, whenever you guys clicked on it, the product in question today is made by a company called Frunsi. Frunsi manufactures tablets, right? Standalone tablets, similar to what you would find in the marketplace, made by companies such as Samsung, maybe Google, and some of the other, companies that use the Android operating system to create tablets for media consumption. This particular tablet today is called the Rubens Tab T8 drawing tablet. So that's something a little bit different than what I've reviewed before from Frunsi. The other tablet that I had reviewed from them was, I believe, called just the Rubens Tab T11. And I did not think that was a good product for drawing. For media consumption, it's fantastic, right? You can watch videos, you can watch movies on it, check email, it's fast, you can play games, but the drawing experience was very lacking. I was able to create some cool some cool art on it just because I kind of pushed through that pen feel. And that's one of the things that I noted was the pen was probably, in terms of quality experience, was probably under the first generation of Microsoft Surface tablets. If any of you guys know, Surface tablets have been around, going on 10 years, 2013, 2014. And whenever they first came out, the drawing experience was kind of lacking. It was very shaky, the tracking wasn't good, and overall it was just not a fantastic experience. As the progression, as time moved on, tablet companies have gotten better and better with their drawing experience, and I hope Frunsi has taken some of the notes that they asked for. So they asked me to review the product, the T11, back in the day, and they wanted a bunch of notes on it, and how it can be improved and stuff like that. So this tablet, however, the Rubens Tab T8, right here, pretty awesome. It's got all the things that a good tablet needs, right? This is a smaller form factor, so T8 being 8-inch form factor, I believe diagonally. And that probably will compete with the Samsung S6, which I believe that's also an 8-inch tablet. So it comes with an FHD display for digital drawing. It's got pre-installed applications and it works right out of the box. It's a standalone, so you don't have to have a host machine, which is pretty cool. Display resolution is 1280 by 800, and it's IPS, high definition, vibrant color, and true tone. Then, of course, it's got palm rejection. That is something that some of the smaller companies have really struggled with because palm rejection's hard, right? Especially whenever it's trying to figure out, your palm with the drawing, with, the touch, and then they include a glove. So we're going to see exactly how that works. It's an Android operating system. Let me see here. Android 13. So it's running Android 13, which is also pretty cool. Ultra long battery life, no computer, 4,000 milliamp battery. So just so you know, I still utilize the Frunsi 11-inch tablet, and it's my desktop companion as far as media consumption. I use it for watching videos and tutorials, and it never ceases to amaze me how good the battery is on that particular unit. Now, I kind of knocked it for drawing, right? Because at the end of the day, drawing for tablets and these companies that manufacture these tablets, it's a challenge, This particular tablet and the old Frunsi Tab, the other tablet that I utilized, had 1,024 levels of pressure sensitivity and I believe it was using the Intrigue technology. Intrigue being the Microsoft Pen protocol that you know, a lot of the Microsoft products utilize. I'm not really sure about that. I have to kind of look into that. They like to keep all those, you know, indications and information kind of proprietary. They don't want to tell everybody what they're using. But that being said, I've got a myriad of pens, and the pen protocol pens that I used definitely worked with the Frunsi product. So that being said, it does come with a case. That was one of the things that I really liked about the 11-inch model that I utilized. The fit and finish was really good. The quality was really good. So I'm anticipating this is going to be something similar. Now they're quoting 5 hours of working time, and I completely believe that. It's got 64 gigs of storage, expandable up to 256. And then it's got 4 gigs of RAM with an 8 octa-core CPU made by MTK. I don't know who MTK is, but I'm sure that those of you who are in the know do know who MTK is. It's probably a hardware chip manufacturer based out of China. So who is Frunsi, right? First of all, you're going to compare this with some of the higher end tablets, which I did. I think that's completely fair, you know. But at $169, what are you going to get for $169? First of all, the 10-inch is $189. So, I mean, why wouldn't you just get the 10-inch, right? Bigger is better in terms of drawing surface. But some of you don't need that, you know, want to spend the extra $20 or whatever, and you know the 8-inch is going to kind of fit right in your slot. So first of all, whenever you go on Amazon, I love the advertisements. I love how you can go in and some of the verbiage they use. It's perfect device for beginners, which is really probably true. True to life display, small screen for big ideas, and yeah, this is, you know, perfect for on the go, which it is. And the fact that it comes with a case is something that a lot of companies kind of miss. Charge me an extra 10, 15 bucks for the case. You know, it doesn't need to be completely awesome. But a lot of the companies like your Apple, they want to charge you $100 for the case or $50 for the case. Samsung, they want to charge you for the case. You know, Frunsi throws it in at that $169 price point. So we're going to unbox it. We're going to look at it. We're going to draw on it. And I think that's important because this is, of course, a drawing channel. But also, we're going to compare it to some of the other tablets out there. I think that the Samsung Tab S6 Lite retails for about $180 now. I think whenever it first came out, it was like $230, $240. But now you can get it for around $180, $190. So we're definitely going to compare it to that one, and I do own one of those, and we are going to compare it to some of the other tablets that are in the marketplace, right? You know, the XP Pen that just came out with their Android tablet, their Magic Pad, and of course I've got the King of the Hill, which is the iPad Pro. So definitely we're going to kind of put this device through its paces and be fair to it, because you know I still use the other tablet from Frunsi, and it's been great. Let's go ahead, do some unboxing for the Rubens Tab T8 drawing tablet. So let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing and move forward. And with a time-lapse unboxing this time, it went really well. Everything was well packaged in its place. It came with everything needed to get started, as well as a glove and these white gloves, which I'm not really sure what those are for, as well as a case. Yeah, everything was very well packaged, and I was very happy with the results. Quality, fit, and finish, it's very similar. Here's their other tablet right here, which obviously is bigger, right? I love this tablet, use it for media consumption all the time. It's very snappy, never had any issues. So, yeah. Oh, we're kind of crooked. This is one of the things that I noticed especially. So that's a little crooked right there, the documentation on the back. On this one, let's look at this one. This is the other one. Perfectly straight. This one, a little crooked. Rubberized backing, that's pretty cool. Here's the charge slot. There's an HDMI out in case you want to pair something else with it, possibly. maybe a monitor? I really don't know. That's interesting. Volume control rockers and the all-important power. It says works right out of the box, so it should have a charge on it. Branded OS. This is Android 13. So what we're going to do is we're going to get everything set up. We're going to get signed in. We're going to get downloaded Rubens Tab. We're going to get downloaded. And then we're going to start drawing on it. So excited. All right, let's go ahead and get signed in, get the apps downloaded. We're not going to go through and show you how to start things up. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you've ever bought a tablet before, then you can definitely, navigate. A little bit of schmutz right there. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get started. And what you can do is come over here whenever you want to expand the storage of it. You press this little tool into the button, pops out the expansion slot, and you could put a micro SD card in there, and suddenly your 64 gig tablet becomes over 300 gigabytes. And that, my friend, is a powerful, powerful setup. So, all right, I just wanted to show you that tool. So a little update with the setup of the Rubens Tab drawing tablet. So I've gone through all the prompts, or at least the majority of them in the setup, and I'm stuck on this particular screen, and it's been here for about 3 minutes. Yeah, I hit the confirm. Oh, okay, there it is. I think we just restarted again. Yeah, this has not been a good experience so far. I've had to restart it twice. And yeah, so just a sec. So we're going to go do it again. So very fascinating. So far, it's not working out of the box, unfortunately. Yeah, so hopefully the next video will be positive. Okay, so I was actually able to bypass the lock screen password setup screen and get into the operating system. That was a little scary because it kept resetting itself. So if you have that issue, hopefully you won't, then just bypass that and set it up. Okay, so it just restarted itself. Yeah, interesting. So obviously this is probably not indicative because I haven't had any issues. Yeah. I don't know. It's fascinating. It's done a couple weird things. So one of the things that I always recommend, obviously, is to go into the settings, see if there is, actually, that's not settings at all. Yeah. Go into the settings, see if there is a systems update. Sometimes there is. You never know. Check for update. It's up to date. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that, and what's nice, if you have Google on your phone, if you have Google on your desktop machine, and you sign in, it's going to sync up with all of your Google apps, from Gmail to your Google browser, to your Google Drive, to Play Store, or anything like that. That's always really nice as it pertains to ease of use. So they said apps being plural, already installed. So the only one that I see that is okay, so they installed Autodesk Sketchbook. So, okay, so accept. Need your brush, store your brush. Okay, that's fine. Allow. View screen. Okay. So I've used Autodesk Sketchbook Pro probably since the late 90s. It's been around. Yes, it's been around that long. So one of the things that I've always liked about Autodesk Sketchbook is the fact that it's just so good at what it does. Okay. So right now, so it is pretty snappy. So this is pretty cool. I'm excited. Yeah. So, man, I gotta be honest with you. And whenever I first started looking at this device, I'm like, that brush has pressure and it's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do some settings and download a couple other applications other than the one that comes on it. and then we're going to actually start drawing. Woohoo! Drawing. So let's go ahead and start the ball rolling. Yeah, drawing. That's novel on a drawing channel, right? We're going to actually draw something. Also, because I'm one for transparency, here is the case. It's a nice case, very similar, if not exactly like the other one that I have for their other tablet. Slides in through the bottom, and since it has a gripping material on it, it is in there. It is not coming out. It is actually kind of hard to get out, but as you can see, right, it's got nice drawing angle, and that's exactly how we're going to use it, right there. And it's got a pen holder, which is very useful, right? Extremely useful. So let's go ahead and do this. Do this as we get started drawing on the brand new Frunsi Tab 8 drawing. So as you see, the setup wasn't completely flawless, and I wanted to kind of have a note about that because it's unfair sometimes for a reviewer to do something and then to see an anomaly and to not explain some of the things behind the anomaly, which, you know, could occur whenever you buy a tablet like this. You know, I've done a lot of setups with tablets and computers, and sometimes not only are there issues with the product itself, but sometimes there's issues that you don't see that are causing problems. Maybe an internal application, maybe the internet is not working correctly, maybe it's user error. I really don't know. It was fascinating, though, that the machine kept restarting itself and trying to go back to its origin foundation. And at the end of the day, I was able to get everything set up, no problem. You know, no problem in the concept that it finally resolved. Now, do I understand why it reset itself like 3 and 4 times? No. Did I get the password thing going into the machine corrected? Yes. Could it have been a Google account sync up issue? Absolutely. But the reality is I just wanted to kind of give a tail end video because you're looking at it going, well, he had issues, therefore I'm going to have issues. That is not the case, right? It could be a myriad of different things. And whenever I set up the other larger Frunsi tablet, I didn't have any issues at all. So the reality is, you know, I wanted to show that because it's a possibility, but in the end, it was able to get resolved. So I just wanted to give that tail end video. And again, be transparent because I could have cut all of that out and shown Frunsi, you know, as a flawless installation. But, you know, if something does like that happen, then you can, you know, be diligent. Don't freak out. Sometimes, again, it is user error. And you don't know, sometimes we could be doing something to cause the issue as a user, but it was able to get resolved. So I just wanted to give you that little caveat, okay? On to the show. Okay, getting to draw on the Frunsi Tab. I am super excited for this. So today we're going to be working in a program that I have utilized in the past, and that is Sketchbook Pro. This particular tablet comes with Sketchbook Pro, as I noted in the intro. And I actually have downloaded additional apps, as you can see. Not only drawing apps, but also some gaming apps. So we'll test some gaming apps out as well. And there's a really cool program that is available on the App Store. I believe it's on the Google Play Store, called Nomad Sculpt. And that is a 3D sculpting program. So we're going to put this device through its paces today. But first, we're going to start out with the program that it came with, and that's Autodesk Sketchbook Pro. Like I've said, I've used Sketchbook Pro for a very, very long time. And it's been around a lot longer probably than a lot of people think. And it is a fantastic sketch and doodling program. And if you haven't heard of it, I think that you should definitely look into it. So right now I've got the user interface kind of blocked out. Now my setup, I've got this on a laptop stand. It does come with a case, as I noted earlier. And the case itself does have a stand built in for horizontal drawing. So whenever you do some horizontal drawing and maybe a landscape or something like that, it's really great for that. But I've got it in its portrait mode right now, and just because of the nature of what I'm doing and going to do. So today we're just going to sketch out a character really quick. Here we go. Let's go back, make sure we have a layer. Good. So go ahead and sketch out a layer. Now, one of the things that a lot of people talk about is something called parallax. Parallax is the activation, basically, of the cursor from the distance. I'm sorry, it's the distance of the tip of the pen to the cursor itself. And there's sometimes you have that distance that is caused by the thickness of the screen, and this definitely has parallax. You can see it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. You can see it right here. There is parallax, and there is quite a bit of lag too. As you can see, the lag is, I mean, if I were to really push it, it's probably maybe 1/8 of an inch. And ultimately, that's not ideal. You want activation to be really good. You want it to be quick. You want it to be fast. But at this particular price point, to have a device that has, you know, virtually no lag, you would have to step up, you know, maybe to a higher end device that has a faster processor. But for what we're doing today, I think it's going to be just fine. In terms of wiggle, this does use the older Intrig technology. So what you're going to see is if I draw horizontally, you're going to see a really nice line. If I draw vertically, you're going to see a really nice line, and it's really crisp and nice. And even if I draw slow, the pressure curve is really good. I mean, it's very similar to some of the older Microsoft devices, maybe your Surface Pro 3, Surface Pro 4, Surface Pro 5, 6, 7, and I think around 8 is when they switched over to the newer technology. It's a little bit better. But this pen, although not amazing, the fit and finish and quality of the pen's really good. It's got sort of a rubberized nip, very similar, and it's a little springy. So whenever I'm drawing, it's just got a really nice drawing feel. The issue comes in whenever you use Intrig is in the diagonal, and as you can see, it's not terrible, but there is slight mechanical wiggle, and you can see some of those valleys that are constant. Like, it'll go like this, 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 and it'll be kind of those peaks and valleys kind of will be measured by the digitizer. So if you get this tablet and you get a little bit of wiggle, there are I believe there's a stabilizer in here. Let me look. This might be a different version of Sketchbook. Okay, so here it is right here. So this is called predictive stroke, and if you have this on, it will basically help with some of the wiggle. It'll predict those things for you, which is nice, the line stabilizer. So I don't typically like to use line stabilizers, again, because it deadens out that feeling of drawing, and I'm not really one for that. I like having complete control over what I'm doing. So as you see, I'm just kind of going through the different brushes. Sketchbook Pro comes with a myriad of brushes, and you know, you can basically, let me see if this is the right brush I want. Yeah, I think that's it. So you can basically go in and download brushes and install them into Sketchbook Pro if you already have purchased some. And also, I mean, it comes with a myriad of brushes. So you've got a very robust drawing program right out of the gate. You know, you purchase the tablet, and then boom, it arrives at your home, and you start it up, you get all situated with Google, and you open this program and snap. You've got a whole myriad of brushes and a very robust drawing program that you can do some great art with. So we're going to go ahead and start blocking in the color. What am I doing right now? You know, this particular tablet is very similar to the other Rubens tablet that I have, and I don't really use the other Rubens tab for drawing. That's not because it's not a great drawing program. It's just that I have other devices that really I've started to really expand with, and the Rubens tab, although great in a lot of areas, drawing is probably about a C+. I know that that's not great to hear, But the thing is whenever you're drawing and you've done this a long time, you kind of recognize certain things in tablets that you like, that you don't like. And even though the Rubens Tab is really good at most things, drawing, it's about a C+, B-. And I'm comparing it to, you know, your Samsung Galaxy tabs. I'm comparing it to your iPads. You know, and some of those, even the Surface or the Surface Pro, like the Surface Book line, I'm comparing it to those. And the reason why is because, number one, I'm a professional. Number two, I just want something that feels good drawing wise. Now this feels, I'm quite surprised, because at this particular price point I'm not expecting much, you know. And I hate to say that, because you know, you're thinking, okay, you want your dollars to go far, but you also want something to last. You know, I had a very bad experience with another company's tablet recently. They sent it to me and it worked out really good in the review, and probably within maybe 3 months the device completely died, and that was the end of that. That's kind of, I'm actually probably do a review about it, because that's just terrible. You spend, you know, whatever it is, $120, $130, $200 on a device. You want it to last at least a year, I would think. But this one, made by a competitor, that has nothing to do with Frunsi's device today. But I'm just kind of giving you an overview of my expectancy of a tablet. Now, if you're buying this possibly for a loved one, or even like a spare traveling device, and you don't want to carry your $1,300 iPad, or, you know, your $800 or $1,000 Samsung Galaxy Tab, this is really a great option for you. Maybe you want something that you can put in your pocket. This is small enough you can put in your pocket. And, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm not really putting down on the device. I'm just giving you a perspective of the real world, right? If I sat here and said, oh, it draws fantastic and everything is lolly-dolly and, you know, everything looks really good and it feels really good, then, you know, you're going to be like, man, this thing's like an iPad beater. No, it's not. It's a really good, I think, budget-minded alternative for those that don't want to go out and spend, you know, $1,000 on a device, or could, you know, nowadays with with the way the like the phone companies and stuff are, you can pick up a really high-end device and just pay payments on it, and you can get that, right? You know, some people have that opportunity. Me, I like having devices that I've paid for, and, you know, I don't have to worry about those monthly hits, you know, either. You know, and some people use credit cards. I don't use credit cards. So I think that this is a great budget-minded device for those who are looking for, you know, like I said, something to help you out, maybe in a pinch. Maybe you want this for your kids, and definitely it'll hit that right on the mark. Here, I'm going to do this. Get this coat kind of coming around. Okay. So far, I mean, the drawing is exactly what I expected. It's very similar to what I had experienced before with the other Rubens. Now, this one is actually running Android 13, and the other Rubens Tab that I have, I thought was going to update to 13, but alas, it did not. So I don't understand. I think they have the same processors, so I'm not really sure why that other device is not updating, and that's kind of a crummy thing, because 13 is really good. I really like it. I've used Android now for quite a while. You know, at first, you know, because I'm a Mac guy. I you know, have been working on Macintosh for a long time, and I didn't really have a reason to switch, but I started getting into the tablet review game, and lo and behold, I have the opportunity to get exposed to Android. And it is a good operating system. For those of you who poo-poo Apple, that's completely fine. You poo-poo Apple. But for me, in my business and what I do, I need something that's reliable all the time, doesn't update all the time, isn't subject to so many viruses. Of course, in this world we live in, there are new viruses all the time, right? So I can't really say that the Apple ecosystem is completely safe, because it's not. But, you know, for me, I use these devices in a professional capacity, and sometimes you know, other operating systems, whether it's Unix, Linux, you know, those are alternatives to the big boys like your Microsoft, Windows, and stuff like that. But Android definitely is a good operating system. I like it. Okay. As you see, I'm just going through putting in that roadmap. I talk about the roadmap on my channel being important in a sense that I'm trying to kind of work out those compositional items that you know, I want to put in there, whether it's a certain character design, whatever it is. So we're gonna go ahead, and he's holding a sword here, or a knife, or a spatula, or a lollipop. Look, a lollipop. Okay. And just make it a sword. Yeah. The pressure curve is pretty good. It's not spectacular. It's not amazing. This isn't like game-changing tech here. This is, you know, technology that's been around for a while, and, you know, being the Intrig, and I can definitely, and I'm used to it, and I like Intrig technology. It's not terrible. You know, whenever I first started using it, I thought it was incredible, because at the time iPads didn't exist and your Samsung devices weren't really that popular. So I was, you know, I purchased, I believe, a Surface Pro 3, and I drew on that thing for a long time, and I thought it was a very, very good alternative. Actually, it wasn't really an alternative. It was the only thing out there that I thought really was good enough. It was a full PC. Now, this is obviously not a full PC. This is a tablet, so it's got the Android, like I said, Android operating system. But whenever I started drawing with the Surface, I definitely noticed that I liked it. And, you know, I would go to the Apple Store, and I would get on the iPad, and I would draw with the Apple Pencil, and I'm like, this is terrible, because at the time they hadn't polished it really great, and it wasn't that good. And, you know, now the iPad is kind of becoming a standard. Now, with Samsung devices, you do get Wacom EMR technology, and that is probably the industry standard. Now, there are other companies out there that are really good, but in terms of industry standard, Wacom was kind of the purveyor and inventor of the technology, so it's hard to beat them. But, you know, at a price point of under $200, Frunsi really is a great option, like I said, for those that don't want to go out and spend $1,000 or, you know, $800 or $500 or whatever it is to get a premier tablet, you know, from either Apple or Samsung. You can get a device like this. Now, it's funny, I think this one retails for $169, and I think the larger version, which I also have, is $189 or somewhere around there. Don't you know, definitely go to Frunsi or go to Amazon and look up their price points. But at that price point, I mean, a device that plays games, that is an e-reader, it takes pictures, because it does have a camera on back and on front. You can do video conferencing with this tiny thing. You can draw with it. You can, you know, watch videos. You can, you know, do some 3D sculpting. I mean, it's hard not to look at this device as something that is an incredibly price-conscious alternative to your larger high-end tablets. Now, I own two. Actually, I own three. I own three iPad Pros. I own one 2018 model, one 2020 model, and one 2023 model with the M2 processor. And the drawing experience is almost identical on all three devices. And those devices, although expensive, they have continued to be a resource here in the studio. And that's what I want to explain, is I want a good device to last. And I think Frunsi you know, based upon the fact that I already have their other device, their 10-inch, 10.5, and I've had that for, oh gosh, a year and a half, and it's been fantastic. I use it as a media consumption and a reference device, and I play some games on it occasionally. And, you know, even though I don't draw on it specifically, it's only because I have other devices in my collection that really have a better drawing experience overall. And it's only marginal, right? I look at this and I'm like, man, this is, you know, even now, they must have improved their algorithm in this particular operating system, because it's a lot better feel than what I experienced before. I think I commented that it was great in a pinch, but that other device, the Frunsi Tab 11, I think it's the 11, yeah, the 11, that it was a great in a pinch design, or in a pinch device. And basically that means if you know, one of my other devices, or traveling or whatever, then I'll probably use that. So this is where we're at right now. I've got to do some anatomy corrections because some of this is really bad. Just by talking and trying to explain exactly in the review process, you know, I'm not even sure. A lot of times I'll listen to myself talking and it'll be too much, and I'll have to do something after on a narration. So this might be a narration situation after the fact, right? Okay. Maybe a couple rocks here. And two, this is a smaller device. This is the 8-inch. So I'm used to really on a very large scale. I've got a 24-inch tablet, and drawing on something like this, a lot of times I feel like I'm doing this, right? I'm in a box and I'm having to do this. So if you're not used to drawing in general, or if you know, you've got a really large format, just be reminded that even though, you know, even though this is a smaller device, it still has capability, and you can still draw something really cool with it. You know? Okay, so let's go back. Look at my brushes. No. Two, I can go here. And I've used Sketchbook Pro, like I said, for a while, so these particular brushes I'm very familiar with. You know, now in terms of snappiness, you're gonna ask, well, how snappy is it? It's pretty good, like right here. So I gotta use 2 fingers. You see there's a slight hesitation, but it's nothing that really slaps you in the face. In terms of you know, picture in picture, I believe it does picture in picture. So if we were to go here, and then we go to YouTube. At 23 miles. Okay, and then we go here. Let's see if we can remember how to do picture in picture. I'm probably gonna, yeah, I messed it up. Okay. I'm messing things up here. I don't remember how to do picture in picture. Okay. Yeah, see, it's not doing it. I should be able to. Anyway, so I know it does picture in picture because, you know, I've used it. So it's just user error. It's just me. So let's go ahead. We'll make this bigger. Okay. Here. No. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going in and putting a little bit of shadowing and texture in here just to give it some value. You know, make that brush bigger. Woo. Okay. Now, one of the things that you have to think of whenever you get a device like this is the fact that you cannot adjust the pressure curve via the operating system. Okay, this particular tablet does not allow for adjustment. Like if you were to go in and calibrate it, you can't calibrate it. You can't adjust the pressure curve, and that's no different on the Samsung devices, right? The only device that I know that you can do that device-wide is the XP Pen. So XP Pen released a device called the Magic Pad, and whenever you first bought it, it didn't have that adjustment, but now they did an update, and you can basically adjust the pressure curve. Not the pressure curve, you can adjust the offset for the entire machine, which is pretty cool. Now in terms of pressure curve, what really stinks is these devices, they kind of have that preset pressure, and it doesn't allow you to go in and adjust things, which, you know, is kind of crummy because not everybody has the same drawing style, but I think from their perspective, they would rather just have control over that so you don't go in end up messing things up completely. And maybe the operating system, even iPads, you cannot adjust the pressure curve system wide. You have to go in and adjust like brushes, but you could do that here in settings. Oops. Okay. And you can adjust things. Here's pressure, and you can adjust things as needed per brush, which is pretty cool. So like opacity with heavy pressure, flow with heavy pressure, flow with light pressure. So we can go and boost that up a little bit so it'll be a little bit darker. So, and you can do that, which is really cool. See? And with, I don't know how many levels of pressure sensitivity this particular device has, but it's not bad. It's probably, I would say, over 1,000. So, all right, so what I'm going to do as I progress through this drawing, I'm going to go ahead and have this kind of come out like this. Yeah, do you see that? So I'll draw, and we're going to show you exactly what it's doing here. Now you see that right there? That is what I'm talking about. It's that hesitation from drawing, because I don't know if it's inputting things. So we're going to go and do the other side. Yeah, see that? It's that right there. It's that little hesitation that some of the other devices do not have, and that might be a program issue, or it might be the tablet itself just kind of hesitating. This is supposed to have a decent processor. Let's look at the processor really quick. Let's go to settings. And again, as I progress through and I start utilizing some of these different aspects of the device, I'm starting to see, I don't want to call them cracks in the foundation, but it's little things like whenever you scroll, like a slight hesitation whenever you scroll. And I'm sure that has to be, let me see, device build number, software updates, device name. Yeah, this is the T8. So on and so forth. System update. Updated to 13. Yeah, it doesn't give the specific processor about the tablet. Model. No. Device identifiers. We're not doing any of that. Device name. You can change the device name if you want to. I thought it might show the processor. I'm sure it's like a octa-core or a quad-core or something along those lines. I'm pretty sure this doesn't have like super robust operating system or processors in it. And I don't know how many gigs of RAM it has. It probably has like maybe 8 gigs of RAM, I would surmise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you guys on time-lapse just for the sake of finishing the drawing and getting some color in here and having some fun. But overall, I think, like I said before, I think the Rubens Tab 8 at $169 price point is probably one of the better deals. If you're a professional, like I said, and you need something as a travel companion, this is really good for a doodle sketchbook or something like that. And it does support all the Google Docs, so you can have your mail, your drive, and stuff like that. So I'm going to put it on time-lapse. But before I do that, I wanted to show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit this. We're going to go here. We're going to hit Let's see, sketch. It should save. Might be auto save. Yeah, it's an auto save option. So let's go ahead and we'll get out of here. And then we're going to come to this program right here, which is called Nomad Sculpt. For those of you who are 3D sculptors, which I am, this is a great option for you, and it's available on multiple OSs, from the Apple OS to standard like desktop. No, I'm not sure if it's desktop, so don't quote me on that. But I know you can get it on the iPad. I know you can get it on the Samsung devices through the Play Store, and you can also get it, I believe, through the Android. So if you look, a little bit stronger. So it does have, let's do move. So you can sculpt. I mean, this is really cool for the fact that you see that slight hesitation. It thinks about what it's doing. And, you know, that I'm not expecting. Let's do clay. We'll do sub. I'm not expecting the world, right, from a device like this. But this is really cool. You can do some 3D sculpting on your Rubens tab. So, you know, at a price point like this, like I said, you can really kind of experiment. And this can kind of be a starter, right? If you want to save up for one of the big boys and you're like, oh, I just can't, I don't want to spend $600, $700, $800 because I don't know if it's just going to work for me. This would be a great starter device for you. You know, if you want to get into illustration, if you want to get into digital illustration or something like that. And again, computers these days, computers are thousands of dollars. This is really great because it puts the device in front of you. It gets you to a spot where, you know, you can decide, and then you just start saving your money, because I don't believe in using credit or credit cards. So you can save your money, and, you know, after however long it takes you, then you can go down and bam, you spend the money on the big boys, and then you have this as a spare. So yeah, that's where we're at. So as you see, I'm just having a little bit of fun. You can really create and have just so much fun with these devices these days. I'm going to go ahead and put his jaw out like that. Okay. I'm going to do like this. So I'm used to using ZBrush. So this is like, have my left hand to do all the quick keys and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So you can do 3D sculpting on your Rubens Tab 8. I mean, it handles it, right? Okay, so this will give you 57 megabytes, 2.74. So does it have 3 gigabytes of RAM? I don't know. So I'm looking up here on the left-hand side. This kind of shows the overview. 57.7 MB / 2.74 gigabytes. I don't know. Maybe it's only got 4 gigabytes of RAM. But either way, I mean, it works, and it's doing pretty good. Let me go and put this out. That forehead up a little bit. Make that a little bit bigger. Alien head. La. Having fun. That's what it's all about, right? Experimentation, having fun. I posted something on my social media today that had an elephant, a baby elephant, putting his hand in some water. And it said something like adventure, experimentation, right? You never know what's on the other side. Take a step out. And basically, I'm trying to show you guys that even if you don't know how to do something, I mean, you can jump into a program like this and you can get the basics of sculpting down. And Nomad Sculpt is I believe it's free. Don't quote me on that. It might be to get all the functions, right? They get you in there and then they shift it on you. But yeah, you can basically have some fun with it. And you can change, you know, You can change color if you want to. It's a stroke painting. And this is, again, Nomad Sculpt is a great program for you to learn 3D sculpting on. It's very intuitive. It's very easy. Just get in there and start sculpting, pushing and pulling some of those polygons. Oops. So, yeah. So the Rubens Tab 8 will do 3D sculpting. Come on, that's awesome. You got to think about that for a second. How many other, you know, devices below $200 you can do stuff like this? This is pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and put you guys on time lapse as I progress through my original sketch of the gorilla warrior. So we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and put that down a little bit. Yeah. And then we're going to come over top of it. And we're just going to start blocking and drawing stuff in and getting some color. All right, guys, enjoy the process.
Okay, so I downloaded and I'm now playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. The sound is pretty good. It's a little tinny, but it does have stereo speakers, which is pretty awesome. Okay. Victory! Yay! Okay, and I've loaded Angry Birds 2. This is the latest and greatest in the Angry Birds series. What I did notice, I'm going to go ahead and turn it down a little bit. Even though you can turn the speakers all the way up, occasionally you'll hear some cracking, which I'm not sure what that's from, but, you know, it is what it is. You hear that right there? It's like a cracking, like an electronic cracking sound. This is a brand new tablet, so technically we should be hearing no cracking. Game loads quickly, great animations, no blurring, nothing like that. Really good overall. I just think that... Here, we're going to turn the volume down because my ears are exploding. It's got a high range, so if you had an equalizer, right, typically it looks like a waveform. I think we're a little high balanced, and I'm not sure why it's like that. But, you know, knock him off, and then we're going to go ahead and take care of this stuff up here. Boom! So yeah, I mean, does it play games? Yeah, it's got a really great screen, really clear overall. You know, I'm really... Whoops. Oh, looks like I took care of business. Got a birdie. Excellent. And here we are on YouTube. So I just wanted to show, in terms of media consumption, of course, this is my channel right here, Michael Clarda Arts. Excuse me. And, you know, going through, it's got really, it doesn't lag or anything like that. And, you know, here's the Frunsi Rubens Tab T11 Pro review that I did, you know, almost 11 months ago. So, yeah, I mean, they've definitely upped their game. Loads quickly. This is always a telltale sign. So, good scrolling, right? Good stereo, good scrolling. Here's a drawing I did on that one. You can see this one. And you see how I'm holding it. It's a little bit different, and I had to hold it because, again, I had to hold it kind of like this. Yeah. Particular piece. So this was basically... Yeah, so you can see I've done a lot of reviews on tablets from the XP Pen, you know, drawing in Photoshop, on the Yugi, another XP Pen. I've done Huion, Canvas 24. I mean, so you understand, I have an understanding of what makes a good tablet a good tablet. You know, I don't typically use these. This is the... This is the camera. So if we go here, camera, while using this app, it wants my location. This has to do with geotagging, only this time while using app. Okay, so it looks like it wants to, let's go ahead and switch it around. So in terms of using it for video conferencing, it does recognize my face, which is really cool. So if we do video, here's video. So we're going to go and record. Test, 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 test. Lighting dynamics is not great. It's a little green, but that's probably because the natural or the lighting is trying to compensate for that. But overall, I mean, it's not terrible. I've seen much worse. Let's say take a picture. Okay, and then we'll come around, we'll do the secondary. So obviously this camera is going to be a little bit better than this camera, the selfie camera. So let's go ahead and take a picture. Okay, let's view it. Detail, crisp detail. It looks really good. I'm very surprised. Let's go to the selfie picture I took. Okay, so here we are.
Test, test, test. Lighting dynamics is not great. It's a little green, but that's probably because the natural or the lighting is trying to compensate.
Okay, so you can hear that's at maximum volume. Okay, here we are with this. There's a picture it took. And that's with the selfie camera. So we're a little blurry, but you know, it's no different than any average cell phone picture. And here's the detail. It does good macro photos. I mean, we got good texture in here and everything. So that's pretty good.
Final thoughts on the Frunsi T8 tablet. I thought it was great. It clicked all the boxes as far as what I was expecting and what it presented as what it could do. I'm one of those people that looks at the overall spectrum of the device, and if it does what it says, it does it well. The fit and finish is pretty good. The packaging looks good. You know, and I have experience with the T11 Pro that I reviewed 11 months ago, and I foresee this tablet definitely being worked into my workflow in some capacity, whether it's sketch on the go, whether it's note-taking, whether it's, you know, letting one of my kids borrow it. I really don't know. I mean, it had good screen, good speakers. It was fast enough to run applications, you know, drawing applications as well as multimedia consumption. It played some games. The screen looked good. It had some extra things on there, right? Memory expansion, Android 13. The cameras were pretty decent overall. And it came with, you know, came with a pen, came with a case, came with a screen protector. You know, and it came with like the gloves and stuff. That was pretty cool. So overall, I give it a thumbs up. You know, at $169, and I'm sure they have sales, but at $169, it's right under that $200 price point. Now, the T11 Pro is $189, so you really have to decide if this is the size for you. Maybe you want to go a little bit bigger. I do find it difficult, a little bit difficult to draw on small screens just because I'm used to large screens and, you know, drawing on iPad Pros and stuff like that. I'm very used to that and having a wide stroke, right? Drawing a little bit here and having my big hands that go in there. Having that 8-inch is just a little bit too small for me. Might be great for kids, might be great for a student that doesn't want to go out and spend a ton of money to get into digital illustration. And you did see it ran 3D, it ran Nomad Sculpt, so that was pretty cool, right? If you want to get into 3D sculpting, man, you can. It's pretty cool. So, overall, I give the drawing experience probably about a C+, C-. Of course, the A being drawing on, you know, like a high-definition 4K or 2K screen or an iPad or a Samsung device. Those are all the upper echelon, but you're going to pay for those. You know, $1,000, $1,300, $1,500 for your modern 12.9-inch iPad Pro. And I hear a rumor that the new iPads are going to be more expensive. Goodness gracious. That'll make this particular device more attractive to students, more attractive to parents that would like to get their children or their teenager or their spouse a tablet. So you don't have to go out and spend tons of money. And what's really cool is it comes with all the, like, it comes with a drawing program, it comes with, you know, your Google Set, your mail, it comes with a bunch of stuff. So this is a very capable device. But anyway, thank you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. I always like to dive a little bit deeper. You know, you did see a kind of a hiccup in the beginning with regards to setup, but you know, sometimes those things happen. And I explained and gave a little kind of an additional video there that said, hey, sometimes these things happen, don't freak out. It might be user error, it could be your network, it could be a myriad of things. But in the end, it was able to get set up no problem, and it's going to get integrated into my workflow seamlessly. I'm very excited. So big shout out to Frunsi for letting me review this tablet, and we'll definitely see you on the next adventure. All right, thank you guys. See you soon. Bye.